Right, welcome to this review for Blood Angels. Got the new codex come through. You can see my hands covered in red spray paint. It's Blood Angels that I've been working on at the moment. The first stage is to review the codex. I've got mine from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop at 15% off the retail price, and then just look at the website here. If you do orders over £100, then you get a further 5% off on top of that. So it looks like they're free shipping to the UK as well. So that's where I've got the codex from. Blood Angels is an army that I've had for quite a few years now, and this codex has been long awaited. I know the codex has been out for a while, but it's Blood Angels that I've been working on recently. So the first stage to seeing this new army, this revamped force, is the codex review here. So I'm just going to run through the whole codex and then give you my thoughts and impressions on the codex as a whole, and then we're just going to look at the units as well, and you'll get an idea of how this new Blood Angels force is going to look. Now, I have to warn you, this is going to be a controversial review, this one. I'm going to take a different approach to this Blood Angels army, but you'll see what I mean as we go along. Okay, so just the long line of hardback codexes now that Games Workshop have done. Nice job. Lovely artwork on the front. Assault Marine, or actually a Vanguard with a golden helmet there. Long awaited. Had a lot of Blood Angels players have been waiting a long time for this codex to come out. A lot of sort of problems that were needed to be fixed, especially in points costs for some of the Blood Angels units. Some new releases as well. Excellent artwork here. Very atmospheric piece of artwork. Really nice. There's another one here, Blood Angels. It's Necrons. Another one. These new codexes, Games Workshop are commissioning new pieces of artwork here. Another nice piece of artwork. You get the impression that Blood Angels are sent into the worst of situations, have to fight the worst of battles. So, just details there. Very helpful for when you're painting. Just the layout all done for you. The history of the Blood Angels. You've got the Death Company. And then just their weapons. Some are unique. Inferno pistol, hand flame, famous weapons that Blood Angels use. And then they have got a bit more, I think, a bit more in depth here on the successor chapters, and that's helpful if you want to break away from regular Blood Angels. I think it's interesting to do a different successor chapter. Angels in Carmine Flesh Terrors look really nice when they're painted up. Angels Vermilion, Angels Sanguine. Blood Drinkers look good. I like the gold edging here on the shoulder pads. Would have been tempting to do those. Carmine Blades, again, nice colour scheme as well. If you don't want to follow the regular Blood Angels patterning, then one of those successor chapters looks nice. That's the army laid out there. Another one there. A lot of tactical squads that Games Workshop have been painting up. New release. There again. You got the Death Company. New Sanguinary Priest model, which I think is excellent. Very nice model indeed. And then the new Librarian they've released, again, another very nice model. So there's Flesh Terrors. I think they look quite good. And the line just taking off all the Tyranids. So getting into the codex now, War Gear list. We'll sort of come back to that on and off. I won't run through it here. Right, so the way I've approached Blood Angels, you'll see it in the previous force. I wanted to take units that aren't in a regular Space Marine army. I wanted the Blood Angels to be unique and to focus heavily on the units that they can take that are unique to them. So you have like a regular Space Marine army, that's tactical squads, rhinos, predators, land raiders and so on. And then when I did the Blood Angels, I wanted to stay away from that regular Space Marine army. I wanted to go for sort of an elite type army and taking units that were specific to Blood Angels, so Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, that kind of thing. I want to carry that on, but the problem is with this codex is it's forcing me down the direction of taking regular units like tactical squads. We'll get into that in a moment. So starting at Captain, you can equip them out pretty well, but the the angle that I'm taking Blood Angels is sort of stay away from a regular choice for Space Marines and look at more the kind of unique units that you can get. So Librarian, the model is superb. It's such a nice model that Games Workshop have done. Really nice in the Terminator armour there. 65 points. Can start to get pricey when you build him up the way you see him here in the picture. You know, I would take Mastery level 2, that's another 25 points, is then up to 90. And then to give him the Terminator armour, then that's another 25 points, so 115 points. It's not too bad. He's got 2 wounds, 3+ armour save, and then he's got the psychic abilities that he has. I think he's a good option to take. It's very tempting to take him. The model's nice. I may well include him in the force. It's just trying to, the way the points have worked out, it's just trying to find that 115 points. It's quite a lot for one miniature who isn't your main HQ. But Librarian, I would be tempted to go for him, and you may well find that he's in the force at some point. Moving on, Captain Tycho. The way I've done my Blood Angels force, I'm trying to stay away from very expensive HQ choices. It knocks your numbers. A lot of the stuff in the Blood Angels force is still quite expensive in points. Your army's going to be quite small, and if you take a very expensive HQ, then your army can look very, very small. So Captain Tycho the Lost. I'm not going that direction. He's sort of a medium type character. He's not, I don't think, particularly amazing. And then he's not really, really cheap, so I'm kind of going to leave out Tycho there. Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, there's a possibility there, but again, you put him up to Mastery level 2, 25 points on top of 150, 175 points. Quite expensive. I know people that use those quite effectively though, so I wouldn't rule them out. Mephiston. Really, I'm not going to go down the route. He's quite one of the more expensive characters. We'll get on to the one that I'm tempted by later on. The Sanguinor is 200 points. I fought against him once. Will Warwick used him in a game. Disadvantage, I think, with him is that he is not an independent character again, so he has to go on his own. And what's worrying about him now is his invuln save is now just a 4+ and not a 3+. It's not as good as it used to be. Weapon skill 8 though is brilliant. Strength 5, and then he'll get Furious Charge on top of that. His toughness 4, but he has Eternal Warrior. 3 wounds, initiative 6, and then he has the grenades, I believe. Yeah, so charging to cover will be fine. And then he gets 4 attacks. He has a Encarmine's sword, which is 2-handed, so you won't get 1 for combat weapons. So it's just 4 attacks and then 1 for charging. LD 10, and then he's fearless on top of that. 2 up save for the Artificer armor. So yeah, he is good, but there's a couple of disadvantages there. He has to be independent. He has to start by not joining a unit, and then he can't join a unit at any point. He's not going to be protected. He can get picked off. So I have the figure. May well try him out in games, but he's just edged out the force really. Astref the Grim is a nice looking figure and pretty good. Letdown for him would be the fact that the axe is unwieldy, so he's going to go last, and then he has a 4+ invuln save, but I don't know, if you're paying you're paying 165 points there, and you've got the chance of him dying quite early in combat before he gets a chance to strike back. Tempting to take now. If you take Death Company with jump packs, which is more viable now with the points reduction, then stick Astref in there by all means, and that would be a killer unit. So Sanguinary Priest. I've bought the figure. The sculpting's excellent. The 2 releases here for HQs that Games Workshop have done, they're both very, very nice models indeed. 60 points. Is it worth it? They now have 2 wounds. I think they used to have 1. So it's got a bit of durability there. It's got 2 attacks. 3+ save, LD10, weapon skill 5. It's not bad what you're getting. But the 2 upgrades there, which we'll turn to, I think justifies the points cost. First one then is the Narfecium. As long as the model with the Narfecium is alive, all models in his unit have feel no pain. So you stick him in a unit that you want some more durability and they all get feel no pain. You know, sometimes you'll pay 50 points to give a unit feel no pain. You're getting, for 60 points, yes, you're getting feel no pain, plus you're actually getting the figure itself. So I think it's a good value in points. It's good LD as well, LD10 is very good. So, feel no pain, I might stick him in a unit of, say, Terminators, stick him in a tactical squad, or and then give him a bit of durability. I think Sanguinary Priests are good. And then the other upgrade that he can take is the Blood Chalice. With that Blood Chalice, you get +1 to the weapon skill. Now, that can be handy if you're a standard weapon skill 4 and your unit becomes weapon skill 5, and you'll fight another weapon skill 4 unit, then that gives you an edge. 3+ to hit is a lot better than 4+. So those two things, I think it's quite good. So I like the Sanguinary Priest, nice model, pretty good stats, and then those abilities that come with them as standard I think are pretty good. You can, you've got access here to melee weapons, range weapons, specialists. You will get Relics of Bow. Just for this horse I think I'll keep the points down and leave him to a minimum and just use the abilities that he has, but he has got the opportunity there to equip himself. Just for a point you give him a bolt pistol, that will grant you your extra attack, which for 1 point I think is worth doing. Brother Corbulo, nice model, very old one now, but nonetheless still a very nice model. I think he's improved, 120 points, so it's double the cost of a regular Sanguinary Priest, but you get a fair bit more. 3+ save, LD10, 3 attacks as standard, initiative 5, 3 wounds, ballistic skill 5, weapon skill 5, and then you're allowed to reroll here once per game, and then you have the Heaven's Teeth, which is +1 strength, so he'll be on strength 5 as standard, and then with Furious Charge, strength 6 on the charge, and rending as well. Then the Red Growl, it's like a Blood Chalice but better. All friendly units in the Blood Angels faction within 6 of Corbulo add 1 to the weapon skill and initiative. So just +1 initiative, which is alright. It could be helpful. He's got Speed of the Primarch, which is just +1 initiative again. So if you want a super Sanguinary Priest, then go for Corbulo, but I think I'll be quite happy with just a standard one and get those bonuses and abilities there. Tech Marine, I'm going to go down that route. It's sort of regular Space Marine option, plus not too convinced on the unit itself. I know a lot of people like to go for Thunderfire cannons, but not really. You don't want that to kind of appear in the Blood Angels force. Just go past there. Last one's Chaplain. Now, the Blood Angels army that I've had has been famous for having the Chaplains, Reclusiarch and so on in there. Reclusiarch's gone, sadly, which is a bit of a shame. I like the idea of having a better Chaplain, but so regular Chaplain, just 90 points, and it's going to grant you that ability to. He's a pretty good character. He's 2 wounds, 4+ Invuln. He's got Craziest Arcanum and the Rosarius. He's on +2 strength, AP4 in combat. It's pretty good, and I would still leave out the Terminator armor to keep that extra attack. Right, then he has the Zealot special rule, so he'll be able to reroll. Him and his unit will be able to reroll their misses in the first round of combat, which is helpful. You usually stick them with unit Death Company. I think I'm going to continue that idea. So, not as good as they used to be. You're not going to get to reroll wounds, so it's a bit of a knock there for that unit combination that I go for, and that has had a bit of an impact on how I'm putting this force together. So that's the HQs. So the philosophy behind this Blood Angels force is sort of a lower spend on HQ choices, and that's going to free up points to then spend on other units. If you take a different approach put it in the comment section. Be very interested to hear about what Blood Angels HQ choices you go for, what combinations and how they work, and what's been successful to you. Always interested to hear how you use different units, specifically these HQs. It'd be interesting to see how you use them and how successful they can be. But that's what the direction I'm going. I think I'm going to stick with the Chaplain and the Sanguinary Priest. Love the model and the rules for him, pretty cool. So on to troops, and this is the controversial part of the Codex, really. You look at my Blood Angels force, currently the older force there before it's going to go through this revamp. In the old Codex you could take Assault Marines and they counted as troops, and that's what I did. Can't do that anymore. Your only two troops choices you can go for to make the army a bound force is Scouts and Tactical Squads. I don't want to go down that route. I know it's controversial, but I don't want to go down that route for this Blood Angels force. I don't want Tactical Squads, I don't want Scouts. So disappointed really. I can't make an assault based army now, you know, with Assault Marines and so on. The new Tactical Squads that have come out, they look very nice indeed. There's no complaints at all about the way Games Workshop produce these. But I think I'm going to move away with this army. It's going to be unique from the others. It's not going to be bound. I'm going to go down the route of unbound. But it's not going to be... I think there's two types of unbound. You can have unbound, but the army's still quite sensible, or you can have unbound sort of spam lists where you take 10 of one thing and the army's just ridiculous. And so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put an army together. It's sort of an elite army. It's going to be unbound, sort of like a big sort of kill team type army, full of elite type units, and just the units that I really like in the Blood Angels force. So sort of a mini protest perhaps. Hopefully one day Games Workshop will bring back the troop choice option for Assault Marines, or work it out in some way where you can build a Blood Angels force that's very themed, and not sort of following that regular Space Marine pattern as much. So not really going to run through Tactical Squads. They're pretty much the same as other Space Marines. You just kit them out how you want. They get Furious Charge, which is nice. So move on, and then Scouts. There's no way I wanted to take Scouts in the Blood Angels force. You know, if I was forced to go bound, then maybe put in a couple of minimal point cost units and just tuck them out of the way. But see, there's a bit of a waste really. So Scouts I've taken out. So moving on, and you'll see the kind of force that's going to be put together here as you look at these other units. I think the command squad for Blood Angels is good value in points. 100 points, you get your 5 Marines. They're all veterans. They're going to have 2 attacks basic. They're all LD9. You've got Champion in there as weapon skill 5. And then you have the Sanguinary Novitiate has the Narvecium built in, so feel no pain. And then the Company Champion has the Power Sword and Combat Shield as well. So I think that's great value for points there. There's a lot in that squad just for that 100 points, and you can equip them how you want. So command squad, pretty good, and then you can stick your character in amongst them to protect him. I think that's quite a good option for them. Right, Death Company, my opinion, a compulsory choice for Blood Angels. Perhaps taking a bit of a knock there that I can't put the Chaplain with them, won't get reroll wounds in the first round of combat, but still I think Death Company are good. Points cost hasn't changed, they're 20 points each. For that you're getting, on top of a regular Marine, it's going to be 2 attacks as basic, and then they come with Feel No Pain and Rage and Relentless on top of that, so I still think Death Company are really good. I'm sure they used to be weapon skill 5, only weapon skill 4 now. That's taken a knock there. Instead of expecting to be 3+ to hits or weapon skill 4 opponents, then it's just going to be 4s to hit. That's quite a change. So with the Chaplain in there, I think that's going to give them more help, they'll need it. Just at weapon skill 4. So equipping them, I found that the formation that I used to do with Thunderhammer, 2 power weapons and then 4 regular guys, I think it worked really well. Just the 4 regulars would absorb the damage, and then it was the power weapons that used to cause a lot of mayhem. I think I'm going to stick with that. It's 15 points to equip them with power weapons. 2 attacks, you'll have then +1 for your weapons, and then you've got rage on top of that, so it's like a lot of attacks, and then furious charge there, it'd be at strength 5, rerolling your hits in the first round of combat, so I think that's a good option. And then for the Thunderhammer, it's been difficult. It may leave out that figure there, so you're going to save 20 points if you drop them, and you'll save 30 points for leaving out the Thunderhammer. I think that's the route I'm going to go. That saves me, sort of buys me the Sanguinary Priest almost. So just the way I've been working the points. If I had spare points, then I could throw them in so that they're able to take on tougher targets. It does mean that the role for Death Company now will be more search and destroy infantry, heavy infantry, as opposed to take on everything. So Death Company will be in. When you see the force, you sort of see the exact combination of gone for. Then you got Lamartes, the Guardian of the Lost. So he can only join Death Company, and he's got a jump pack. So if you go for Assault Mirror, if you take jump packs for Death Company, it's only 3 points. So it's definitely viable now. Only 3 points to do it. Used to be something like 15. But the way I protect my Death Company is to deliver them in the Storm Raven gunship. I think that's the philosophy I'm going to still follow. So no need for jump packs, but you may well want to go in that direction. And sticking Lamartes with them is just a souped up chaplain with a jump pack. So his Crozius here is just Mastercraft. You get to reroll miss. He has rage, and then he adds +1 to his strength and attacks for the end of the game if he loses a wound for the first time. So just bonuses on top of that. Right, Sanguinary Guard. I believe the points cost for them has come right down. Really love the models and really happy with how the paint job came out for those. And I put them in force sometimes, but they sort of struggled. But with that kind of points reduction, they were near 200. They're now 165 points for 5. You're getting 2 attacks basic. They're fearless, furious charge, and 2 up regular armor save. So you've got to be careful how you use them. Remember, they've got no invuln, but chucking them into a unit that, if even a low, like a horde unit, and just let them chop away fearlessly, mashing their way through, I think is an option for them. Fearlessly, they'll just carry on, and then if a unit can't hit them too hard, like they haven't got no AP2 weapons, then they'll just survive and just chop their way through. I think they're a viable option now. I would take if you have the points, the banner. It looks really good. Now for chapter banner, for any units in the Blood Angels faction within 12, it's not just the unit, reroll failed morale checks and pinning, and on top of that, all for any models with the Blood Angels faction of the same unit. That's all that Sanguinary Guard will get an extra attack. So they'll have a base of 3 attacks each, which I will soup up that unit pretty good. So I think that's an upgrade to take. That still keeps them below 200 points. It's 190 points. I'd equip them for taking on infantry in combat. So that means I'm happy with the weapons that they have. The Encarmine Sword. Yeah, Encarmine Sword. It's master crafted here, so you get reroll a miss. These guys are pretty reliable. And then the axe, which is free of charge. I have 2 in the units that I've built. I have 2. They're +1 strength, so they will be strength 6 on the charge of furious charge, and they're AP 2. They are unwieldy, so you have your other 3 guys there to absorb the blow, but they're AP 2, so they can take on Terminators by all means. So Sanguinary God, I think there's potential with them, but you've got to use them carefully. Don't let them get shot up. And remember that they haven't got an invuln save, but other than that, there is some real potential for them. And they're not too expensive. Now the points cost has come right down. For 190 points, you give them a whole lot of, you can give them extra attacks there, and then not worry about the other upgrades. If you go for the pistols and so on, Inferno pistol at 10 points each, plasma pistols, you then start using up a lot of points there. So I think I'm going to have them just as they are, and then possibly have the banner with them as well. Dreadnought, which is just like a regular Space Marine Dreadnought. Don't want to go down that direction, so stay away from that, because Blood Angels have their own sort of unique Dreadnoughts. You remember in the old Force I do have both. I love using both. So Death Company Dreadnought, I really do want him in the Force still. Rules have changed for him with the Blood Talons. So, and you got Magna Grapples changed as well. So we'll just run through him here. So his weapon skill 4, not weapon skill 5, which is a shame, but his weapon skill 4. One thing about Dreadnoughts now, monstrous creatures have taken a hit with a smash attack. So say you got a Trigon. His regular strength is 6. And then for him to get that extra strength, to go up to strength 10, he'll only get 1 attack. So it will take him a while to break into a Dreadnought at armor 12. So I think Dreadnoughts, instead of getting mashed to pieces by monstrous creatures, they now stand some fair chance, I think, in my opinion. So for Blood Angels, I like using Dreadnoughts, and I think using Dreadnoughts now has become even more viable. They can take on monstrous creatures and stand a pretty good chance of doing some damage, especially this guy. So strength 6 as standard, front and side is 12, rear 10, but you'll fight the front because he's got a weapon skill. Initiative 4, it's not bad. 3 attacks as basic, and then 3 hull points. He gets furious charge, so he's now going to be strength 7, and then he'll have rage, so he'll have +2 attacks on the charge. That makes it 5 attacks. He has smoke launchers, searchlight all built in. He has the melter gun built in and the storm bolter built in as well. He's 125 points. None can stay my wrath, so he ignores crew shaken and crew stunned. He'll still take the hull point, but that's a handy upgrade for him to have. So you replace both power fists with blood talons, and you keep your weapon upgrades for 10 points. Just have a look at blood talons here. Just looking at it here, it's saying strength times 2, so he's going to be at strength 10, and he's going to be AP 2, and he's going to be at shred, so he's going to reroll his wounds. Yeah, he's a killer. It's excellent. The only thing is you can't reroll your hits when you charge in, but if you have a weight of attacks, then it makes up for it. Now let's just get this right. He can, with a pair of blood talons, yeah, so he'll get 1 attack extra for weapons, 3 attacks, 4 attacks, rage, 5, 6 attacks. He can get 6 dice. So yeah, he's going to do some damage there. Pretty good. Just check out Magna Grapple. It's different. It's not a shooting attack anymore. It used to be you'd be able to get strength 8, AP 1, I think, shot, which is quite cool. Plus you could pull a vehicle towards you. Magna Grapples aren't as good anymore. You just reroll your charge range, I think, against vehicles, which is handy enough, but it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. It's free of charge, and I think I'd still go for it. You can replace your melter gun with a heavy flamer. I'd probably keep the melter gun, just the off chance that you could deploy, charge and shoot at a rhino, possibly blow it up and then charge the contents inside, and then replace the Stormbolt with a Heavy Flame. It'll cost you 10 points if you want to do that. I just try and keep the points cost to a minimum. So it'd be 135 points with the Blood Talons, which I would go for. And I think that's quite still good value in points. Right, onto the Furioso. Dreadnought, again, basic, 125 points. And the cool thing about him is he's weapon skill 5. And he just gets 2 attacks, but they've kept armor 13 for him. His armor's armor 13, which I think is very good for a Dreadnought. He has Furious Charge, so he'll be at strength 7 on the charge. If you do this configuration here, which is the configuration I really like, you'll keep one of the fists here, so you're going to be at strength 10 with that. Anyway, you can give him Blood Talons, which is interesting, so you can give him that equipment. He'll get less attacks, but he'll be tougher at armor 13. You can do that, and he'll be weapon skill 5. I like to take the Frag Cannon. It costs you 5 points to do it. Just have a look here at the Frag Cannon. So it's template, strength 6, assault 2, so you get 2 templates when you fire it. And it's rending on top of that. I think it's a really good weapon. When I played against players, they have said they do fear it. It's kind of an intimidating weapon there. In combination with that, now I think it's a great idea to give it the Heavy Flamer upgrade as well, which will not cost you at all in points. Replace them out to come with a Heavy Flamer. You're allowed to fire 2 weapons. Fire that and that. That's 3 templates that you're going to chuck out. 2 of the hits would be at strength 6 AP, no AP but rending, and then 1 with strength 5 AP4. You can take extra armor, it's expensive, 15 points. You can take the Magna Grapple, I think I will as well. But he'll be for charging it into lightly armed units and just templating them, and then if they're still there, just charging what's left. Pretty devastating, or just charge straight into a vehicle with your Power Fist attacks there. So both those are mean and nasty, and then by using the Storm Ravens, I think it's an excellent delivery system for them. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. But notice that's 2 elite choices, no more troops choice for him. So it really messed up trying to do a bound force. There's 2 disadvantages if I wanted to do bound. One was that I'd lose. I'd have to drop out some of my elites. And the other reason is that I didn't want the actual troops options that you have. Couldn't take Death Company as troops, can't take the Death Company Dreadnought as troops, so real shame about that. Then moving along to Terminators. Regular Terminators is just regular Space Marines I associate them with, so stay away from that. Assault Terminators, in Games Workshop have re-released them for Blood Angels, and they look very, very nice indeed. You shouldn't really need to get the Forge World shoulder pads and so on anymore. They've released it, they've done very, very nice. So 200 points. They've performed well in games, they've been durable, they've caused a lot of damage, they've taken out the heaviest of armed targets. So just really, and I like the paint job and how they came out, so I really wanted them in the force. So 2 routes you can go down. You can go for Lightning Claws to shred units. I wanted mine to take on, to absorb hits, to be able to survive the blows from whatever they charge. They're going to charge something very nasty, a nasty character, some monstrous creature. They've got to survive the hits coming in. So Lightning Claws didn't really do it for me. So paying the 5 points to take Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields I think is good. So that's the route that I'll go. That's how they're configured, and I think I'll just carry on with the option for putting them in the Storm Room. It just lets you deploy and charge, and it lets you have that control in the game. Right, other units. So really we've covered units that I already have, apart from this Sanguinary Priest. There's a couple of units that I'm going to add to this Blood Angels force that I don't have yet, or didn't have in the old army. So it's been interesting. I've been going over this list over and over and over, rewriting it. I think I've settled 99% there. I'm just finishing off the units at the moment. So Vanguard Veterans, they're 19 points, and then to give them jump packs is just 3 points. So the Games Workshop really sorted this out for them. So for 22 points, you're getting they're pretty well equipped. They're pretty well equipped. They have that Furious Charge. They got 2 attacks basic, LD9 as basic, but really you're getting these so that you can equip them with a variety of weapons. You can give them Storm Shields now for 10 points, which is pretty cool. So you give them like power weapons and Storm Shields, for example, would be quite good. I'm not sure I'm going to take these. My army is going to be delivered by Storm Raven. So another elite choice, probably not take Vanguard Veteran, but I'm not saying they're not good. I think they are good. They're cheap now to turn them into jump pack infantry. And then the way I build them would be maybe take a squad of 6 or 8, have 4 of them just with regular bolt pistol chainsword, and they're just to absorb the blows if you're fighting at something that's higher initiative, and then just equip a few of them, maybe 3 of them perhaps, the sergeant, and then 2 others with power weapons. And I think they would do pretty well. Yeah, I mean, you can give your sergeant a relic blade, but it's 25 points, a lot of points to give them that. So yes, it's an option. Be careful though, you end up spending loads of points and someone just drops a Lehman Russ template on them, blast, and then they're blown away. So just be wise with how you spend your points. Stone Guard Veterans always had a soft spot for them, and I have decided to put them in this Blood Angels Force. It's another elite choice, and it's been exciting because the Games Workshop have released the new plastic figures. You've got all your combi weapons in the kit. I've been making the figures just recently, and the kit's superb. You've got all of your options in there. The heads on there, the weapon options are brilliant. It's just been a choice of how to build this Stone Guard Veteran unit and how to use them. So they're 22 points each, which is expensive enough, so you're already paying out a fair amount. The role that I want them to take, I think, is as an ambush unit, and that means to put them, I think if you have them on your back line, say you've got 2 tactical squads there and you've got a unit of Stone Guard Veteran, your opponent's just going to target the Stone Guard because they're the highest value and their weapons can be dangerous. They'll target them and they'll get picked off. You can fire a few shots back at range and they just don't have the impact that they could have. So the approach that I've gone for them is I want to be able to deliver them to be able to fire at full effect, and to do that by taking no damage. And I think the way to do that is to put them in drop pod. And if you have 1 drop pod in the force, they will come down first turn. Because they've got shooting weapons which have good range, then I think you'll be able to get close to whatever your target is, no problem in a drop pod. And then just let loose with those weapons that they have. So I just want to take a look at their special issue ammunition. Love the idea of multiple options for your shots. So you've got your Dragon Firebolt, range 24, strength 4, AP 5. Sounds regular, but it's got the fact that it has ignores cover it makes it superb. You roll a hit, roll a wound. It's AP 5, and then you're not allowed any kind of cover. Brilliant. Then another option, you got a Hellfire round, range 24, AP 5, but it's poisoned and it's not 4+, it is 2+ to wounds. So if you can bring enough shots to bear, if you take a big enough squad, then 2s to wound, you can cause a lot of trouble to some monstrous creature. Say a monstrous creature has a 3+ save, you cause 10 wounds at 2+, which is doable. He's got to make 10 saves, and even with his regular armor save of 3+, he's going to foul a good few there. Then you got a Kraken Bolt, which increases your range, to 30, which is quite a distance for small arms. And then it's strength 4, but AP 4, so the AP is pushed up, and then it's rapid fire on top of that. So again, another good option to try and take out fire warriors from range. AP 4. Then you have your vengeance round, helpful one, rage 18, strength 4, but it's AP 3, which is excellent. Gets hot, but you may lose 1 or 2 from that. So that's another option. You drop pod down, and it's a unit of Marines in the open. Well, you can give them a whole broadside of vengeance rounds, and you'll cause a lot of trouble. So excellent options there. Love special issue ammunition, and I think an ambush tactic with that is excellent. So say your opponent, you're fighting Tyrannies, he's got 20 Hormagaunts. That's your target, and they're in cover. You'll get, if you take a unit of 10, I think that's the route I'm going to go down. I'm going to take a unit of 10. That's 20 shots. The sergeant, I'm not going to equip him and pay any extra points. So I'm going to keep the cost down, because they are a unit that potentially, if they deep strike and they're close to the enemy, they're going to die. So no upgrades for any of them. Or for the sergeant, no power weapon or power fist or anything like that. Just flat 22 points. So he keeps his special issue ammunition. I can't see any point in taking the Stern Guard with their special issue ammunition and then swapping out that weapon for something else, a regular weapon. I can't see the point in doing it. The point of paying out the points for these is that you get that special issue ammunition. So 10 points each. That's 20 shots you're going to get. And then whatever type of round you decide to do. So say they're in cover, you get 20 shots. You hit with, say, 12, 13 hits. And then freeze to wound, you're going to say killed 10, you're going to get no cover save, so you've just blown away half of that unit. That's okay, but I think taking combi flamers, just a couple of them, will help you take out softer targets. It will just help you deliver more damage. So you could fire your 2 combi, you come down combi, because you're going to get 1 chance at this. So you drop the unit down, you fire your 2 combi flamers, you get as close as you can, and you can take out a whole load more, and then finish the rest off with your special issue ammunition. And it hasn't cost you too much, just 20 points to give them 2 combi flamers, and there's great potential for that there. So I think that's the route I'm going to go down. And the advantage is you deep strike them in after your opponent's deployed. So you choose exactly where you want to go, and then you can pick out a unit somewhere. You tuck the unit away as a sniper somewhere, and you just alpha strike it. You strike it, take it out, and then just at LD9 just hunker down somewhere, and then just let out shots, different types of ammunition shots across the battlefield, and just harass the opponent. I think there's great potential for the Stern Gun. If you find that I think with these, if you find that say your opponent is all inside his transports, there's no target at all, then just deep strike it down in a quiet area of the battlefield, sit it on top of an objective, and just leave them there, and let them hold the objective. And later on in the game, if anyone gets close to them, then they can snipe with their weapons. So Stern Guard are in. Love the figures and the rules for them. Rhinos, well, no tactical squads, so no Razorback. Expensive, 65 points, because they've got these overcharged engines here. I used to take the 2 units of 5 Assault Marines. If you drop the jump packs, you got the transport at a discount. I used to get that Razorback very cheap. Can't do that anymore. 2 Razorbacks now would cost me 130 points, a lot of points. Just to take an Armour 11 twin-linked heavy bolter transport. So not going down that route currently. There's a drop pod at 35 points. So he's in. Already had a drop pod. It was half painted from years ago, and I've recently just finished it off. So it's been an excuse to finish off some units that I didn't have done before. Right then, land speeders. Again, regular Space Marines. So not going to go down that route with them. Now going to assault squad. No longer troops, which I think is a tragedy. So they're now fast attack. I still rate them. They are only 17 points a model, and they already have jump packs. So I think they're pretty good. So what I've done, I've got one of the miniatures here, is I've taken off the old regular backpack for them, and then I managed to keep my old jump packs for the Death Company, so I painted them up and then just magnetising them, sticking them together, and now those Assault Marines which were on foot, they're now regular Assault Marines with jump packs. So I think that's the route I'm going to go down. I'm going to take 10, I think, just for them to have an impact, and I think they might hang around with the Sanguinary Guard, just to be granted the bonus from around for pinning. I mean, they're not too amazing, they're only one attack each. They'll get +1 for their weapons, and then +1 for charging. They get Furious Charge, so they'll be at strength 5 on the charge. So they're just for ploughing into regular units, not expecting them to do amazing things, but just for tying units down. You've got the option to split them into combat squads, which can be handy. And then your sergeant you can equip with power weapon and so on. May well go down the route giving him a power weapon. But again, for these, because they're low stat line, I'm not going to try and hype them up too much. They're sort of cannon fodder if the Blood Angels can have such a thing. But just, I like the look of them, and I think a unit of 10 does have some potential. You can swamp a unit, charge in, especially light infantry, or say like an elite unit, but you can swamp them with so many attacks that you can cause them to foul saves, and there's potential there to do quite well. So Assault Marines will be in, and they'll be regular Assault Marines with the jump packs, which I think makes them look really nice. Anyway, right, so that's Assault Marines. Then over to bikes as a fast attack choice. Just again, regular Space Marine. You can swap out the arms, heads and shoulder pads and so on, make them look more Blood Angels, but again associate them with regular Blood Angels. So and the speed part of my army is going to be sort of airborne and jump pack based, so leave bikes out. I'm not saying they're good, just not the direction I'm going with the force. So again, attack bikes, scout bikes, not in. Storm Raven gunship, 2 pages they've taken up for this one. So 200 points, the price hasn't changed, I don't think. I think it's an excellent flyer. One, because of the protection, you can have armour 12 all the way around. For flyers, that is excellent. The other thing is it's an assault vehicle, so whatever you put inside can assault on the turn that it deploys. So if you go for carrying a dreadnought or carrying the figures inside, and you can carry 12, not 10 but 12, which is helpful. You can carry a full squad of something and then any characters on top of that. So I think that's an excellent way to deliver your load there, and the way to do that I think is to zoom up, get in position, turn at your right. You want to have least exposure to incoming anti-aircraft fire that you can. You don't want to dance about across the table because you're carrying units that potentially could die if the craft gets shot down. So zoom up to wherever you're going, and then second turn you must deploy an assault. I think is a good rule to follow. It's not so bad off on dreadnoughts. I think they suffer 1 strength of 10 hit in the rear armour, so you're going to get penetrated, but you'll probably survive it. But for regular infantry, for crashing, it's a nasty mess. So be prepared to possibly lose the units or take measures against it. It's one of the reasons why I'm taking the Terminators with the Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields, so that if it does crash, you have your 3+ invuln save. So 2/3 of them will survive the crash, which would be very helpful indeed. So you have Skies of Fury as well, so you can disembark via Deep Strike. It's helpful, often forget that rule. So I found that the old configuration I used worked very well, so I'm happy with it to continue. So it's just 200 points. Twin-linked assault cannon, swap it out for a las cannon, it's free of charge, there's no points cost. And then instead of taking heavy bolter, you could take twin-linked multi-melter, and that's free of charge and no points cost as well. So you're still keeping it 200 points. 25 points for a Typhoon missile launcher, which is a lot of points. So 25 points, they're very expensive. Hurricane bolters, 30 points for those. Don't think I'd bother with that, not just for small arms fire there. Searchlight point, extra armor locator beacon. No, so for just keeping it at 200 points, because it is a fly and it's good chance of being shot out of the sky, you don't invest too many points in it. I took 2 in the old list, I think I'll stick to 2. This gives you the double option there. You've got 2 flyers that can zoom in and cause havoc with the enemy army. So it's worked well, and I hope just to carry on with that basic principle for the force. Devastator squad, again, regular Space Marine sort of options. So no, Battle Predator, I do like the Battle Predator configuration. May get one day, but don't have it at the moment. Would probably take it with possibly keeping the assault cannon and then taking heavy bolters and just chucking out a load of shots and just moving about, and sort of like a scout tank almost. Does have overcharged engines, so it counts fast, so manoeuvrable, and 135 points, quite cheap for a tank. Armor 13 as well. Regular Predator, again, regular Space Marine. Vindicator, regular Space Marine. Just trying to avoid that. Whirlwind, Land Raider, all regular. I know I have a Land Raider already painted up for Blood Angels, so it's a possibility there. It's 250 points, that's a lot. I already have a Predator, Annihilator is an option, and the points cost just come down. So they're viable, but sort of moving away from that really different configurations for Land Raiders there. Right, so Commander Dante, I think would be one of the characters I would include. It's 220 points, he is expensive, but there's some great things about him here. I already have the figure painted up, so you may see him appear in the force. So weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength and toughness 4, 4 wounds, which is good. Initiative 6, 4 attacks, LD 10, and 2 up save. He's got his jump pack, Iron Halo, so he's 4+ inbun. He has the grenades there, Inferno pistol, fire at ballistic skill 5, and then Eternal Warrior. So he's toughness 4, but he's Eternal Warrior, so you can chuck him in against, strength 8 things, no problem. Strength 8 and above. Furious Charge, so he has +1 on his strength. Hit and Run, which is interesting there, and then Axe Mortalis. This is really why it makes him so good. +2 strength, so strength 6 is basic, 7 on the charge, AP 2, and then Mastercrafted. And then what's missing from there? It's not unwieldy. So he's going to fight at normal initiative with that axe, which makes him superb. He'll strike first with a brilliant close combat weapon. So I think that makes him very good. Stick him with a unit of Sanguinary Guard. Then that's a deadly unit, but it's 400 points now. So that's what you be careful about with Blood Angels. You start paying out for souped up characters and your force begins to shrink and look very small. Gabriel Seth here, he's good for the Flesh Terrors, lots of attacks and rending. So if you're on a good motive for collecting Flesh Terrors, Gabriel Seth is good, and he's not too bad on points, 155, and there's no other upgrades to pay for. He has Red Rampage, plus ×2 strength, so he's on strength 8, and he gets his Fearless and Furious Charge on top of that, and Rage. His weapon's AP4, and Rending, so I think Gabriel Seth's pretty cool. Then you're on to formations here, so you can do an entire Blood Angels battle company if you wish. That's a huge collection to do there. 6 tactical squads you'll need. It's very ground based, so that's not really an option there. Nice display there, Blood Angels. Then just onto the rules, extra rules here. So Red First is out here for just a regular force organisation based army or unbound, whatever. So you've got combat squads as per normal Space Marines. Then you've got Warlord traits here. We'll run through these, see if they're any good. So, first one, your Warlord has the Rampage special rule. Yeah, it's just going to gain 2 D3 attacks on the charge if he's outnumbered. So potentially it's alright. The way my characters work, they're going to be buried in units, bigger units, so that may not often happen. So I'm not sure if that rule is any good. I mean, if you had, say, a Librarian Dreadnought, perhaps it's just going to count as 1 when he charges in, then Rampage would be pretty cool to have. 2, Speed of the Primarch, +1 to his initiative. That's not very good at all. Artisan of War. Nominate 1 weapon carried by your Warlord. Weapon has the Master Crafted special rule. That's alright, pretty weak to be honest. Next one is Soul Warden. Your Warlord has Adamantium Wheels. You get +1 to deny the Witch rolls. Again, not particularly impressive. 5, Descent of Angels. Units in your Warlord's detachment. Warlord's detachment with the Jump, Flyer, Skimmer can reroll failed reserve rolls. Okay. In addition, Jump and Skim units from your Warlord's detachment arrive. They only get a D6. Well, that's roughly the same value as the one that you get in the regular 40k rulebook. Heroic Bearing. For any units from Armies of the Imperium and allies, your Warlord have the Fearless special rule. Okay, not too bad, but I would say that's generally a weak Warlord traits table, so I don't think I'll be using that one. It'll probably be strategic traits still would do it for me from the rules. Not going to really run over the weapons here, we've sort of referred to them, so we'll just move through there. The specific ones, the Blood Angels, we've turned up and looked at already. So looked at special issue ammunition for the Stern Guard, very impressed by it, like it a lot. So we've gone to Relics of Bale, and we'll keep an eye on the cost of those as well, which, as I said earlier, we'll just refer back to the points cost here. So Relics of Bale. So first of all, Angels, the Angel's Wing. So you gain jump unit type. You also reroll the scatter dice to determine your final position when arriving by deep strike, and you may also reroll any rolls on the mishap table. Furthermore, any models that target this unit as a result of the interceptor special can only fire snapshots. So sounds pretty good, and the cost of that is 25 points. I mean, that's not too bad. Say in this codex, a lot of the relics, the special upgrades that you can take here, the points cost of them isn't too bad. So 25 points, if you want that, that's quite an option there if you've got a deep striking unit that you want to become a bit more reliable. So, not bad upgrade. The Crown Angelic. Model of the Crown Angelic has Fear, and when they test, it's -2 to their leadership. So, yeah, not bad. The Veritas Vitae model with the Veritas Vitae contains an additional Warlord trait from the strategic traits table. Okay, so you get 2, and then you reroll if it's the same. So Veritas Vitae, not too bad if you want to pay for an extra trait. Again, it's random, so you have to roll to determine it. It costs 15 points. You may want to go for that. Galeon Staff. So it's a librarian's weapon, it's the same, but it's rage fueled. It can reroll any dice of a 1 when making a psychic test, but will immediately suffer a wound. No saves of any kind allowed for each rerolled dice that is also a 1. So you might want to take that. Imagine it's not too much. It's not in the relics points cost, but imagine it's not going to cost too much. Fury of Bale is strength 7 AP2 pistol, so it's a plasma pistol, but it's master crafted, so you get to reroll. So regular plasma pistol is 15 points. This one's 25, so you want to pay 10 points to be able to reroll a miss. It's quite expensive. Valor's Edge is just a power weapon. It's not two-handed, and it's AP2, so it's pretty good. Regular power weapons 15 points, Valor's Edge is 20, so an extra 5 points you'll change that weapon to AP2. I think it's possible, so you've got a sergeant with power weapon, you want to give him Valor's Edge, make it AP2. That's a possibility there. Okay, psychic powers. I really wrestled with this because it was tempting to take the librarian, which I think is an option. I may try and get one in the force in the future. So we'll run through these ones. The librarian, you can take the other powers from the 40k rulebook, but these are the ones specifically for the Blood Angels. So the Primaris power, the one he comes with by default, it's a blessing. You can target yourself or a single friendly character within 12 of the Psyker. Whilst this power is in effect, the target has the fleet and D3 initiative and attacks. It's pretty cool to have that as I think that's quite a cool upgrade to have. So you've got a good character, you can soup him up even more with the quickening power. Let's just warp charge 1. So let's have a look at the others here. Team Mastery level 2, you're going to get 2 of these, 2 out of 6. Fear of Darkness targets a single enemy unit within 12, must take a morale check with -2 leadership. Okay. Seems alright. Average that one there. Make someone run away. So the next one's Unleash Rage. It's a blessing, targets a single unit, friendly unit within 18. That target has the Rage special rule. If you already have Rage, then you get an extra attack on top of that. So again, I think that's pretty good. You know, your army's probably going to be quite small, you'd be outnumbered, but granting all those extra attacks is going to give you a good advantage. Next one, Shield of Sanguinius. Is a blessing, it targets a Psyker. Whilst this power is in effect, all models in the Psyker's unit have a 5+ invuln. Okay, it's not bad, helpful enough. You know, if you're a unit that's you find yourself locked in combat with some monstrous creature or some unit of Terminators or something, you need something to help you out, but that might help you there. Blood Boil is Warp Charge 2. It's a focused Witchfire. Range of 18. You've got to make 2 toughness tests. You pick out an enemy character. And then for each test that's failed, you lose a single wound with no saves of any kind allowed. So I take it that includes invuln save. Target is slain. You get a large blast marker over the target unit. Strength 4 AP 5, ignores cover. So that'd be fun, I think, to do that if you successfully pulled that off. You know, kill someone's sergeant and then it blows up and then ignores cover. Strength 4 AP 5 takes out the rest. That'd be quite a scary one to come up against. It's Warp Charge 2 though. Then, so we've seen a lot of blessing type ones here to enhance your force. Blood Lance now is Warp Charge 2. It's a beam. Range 12, strength 8, AP 1 Lance. Potential of a decent enough shooting attack there. And finally, Wings of Sanguinius, Warp Charge 2. It's a blessing again. Single friendly infantry unit within 12. Makes a move up to 12 inches. Ignores intervening units, terrain, etc. Anyone that starts or ends this move in difficult terrain, dangerous terrain. Check, target unit cannot charge in the same turn, so it's a big shame. And it counts as having moved in the movement phase for purposes of shooting. So it's not bad, but I doubt really, I don't know when you'd use that really. So those are the ones, I say not bad there. Lots of ones for enhancing other units, which is quite cool. And if that's what you set out to, if that's why you take a Psyker, then you've got your Primaris power. If you roll up badly, you're still going to have that basic quickening power there. So I say the powers aren't incredible, but take a low points cost Psyker and you can use those just to bolster your force and other higher points cost units. So not too bad. So that's it really. You've got a Battle Strike Force, and this is interesting here because you can take 2 troops, an HQ and 4 elites, but still for me it just wasn't quite enough. So I haven't gone down the route. I may well find I'm forced to go to bound army, but it's unbound at the moment, sort of a bit of a rebel army. This chaplain that's leading the force, and he's put together this elite number of units, and they just go out and take on the worst of opponents and the toughest of battles. That's the kind of theme behind the force. They're unbound, they're sort of not sticking to the regular doctrine, but it's just kind of a force that's out there. The chaplain's slightly mad perhaps, and he's assembled a number of units around him. So that's the theme behind it, and it's sort of a sensible army I'm putting together. I'm not going for like a spam type list, so I think it'll be fun to watch in games, but we'll see what kind of controversy comes up on this video here in future battle reports. You just get your reference there. This one does come with a fold-out page. Everything's summarised on there for you nicely. So that's the review for Blood Angels. I've gone for units that I like the look of, and ones that really are sort of a Blood Angel theme. So that's the review done. Keep a lookout now for a full army review. The army's getting close to finished, and then we have got battle reports lined up for the Blood Angels as well, tough ones. So exciting times ahead, but leave your thoughts, especially about the organisation of this force, whether you think unbound, bound, the approach I've gone for is right or wrong. I'm sure there's be a lot of talk going on about that. Keep a lookout for the army on the channel, and then there's a full Blood Angels painting tutorial. It's for one of the figures in the Space Hulk set, but if you're interested in painting Blood Angels, check that out. There's the older Tactica videos for Blood Angels as well, and the full army overview if you want to see the old force, and then the games that they've previously fought in. They are an army that has done well. They'd be one of the higher performing armies. They have been beaten a few key times. They're not at the top. I'm looking to turn this force into an army that is feared by its opponents. So that's the review. Check out the other reviews on the channel, painting tutorials, battle reports. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.